This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
He went to the casino to win big, only to leave with a bullet in his windshield. Now a St. Louis County man has a message about celebratory gunfire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Holden Kerwicki. Mike Bush and Ann Allred have the night off. The bullet in the windshield happened early this morning at the River City Casino. Our Justina Coronel joins us from the newsroom with more details on this case. And Justina, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Holden. So William Mason said that this is his second year going to River City Casino with his wife to kick off the new year. But this time they left with disappointment.
Ever since it opened, I've been going to River City Casino. We like it because it's close. And maybe that's not so good for money-wise, you know?
William Mason and his wife were ready to hit the jackpot to kick off 2024.
We were really happy that we both won money. We were walking out, ahead money-wise, and all of a sudden this.
While successful inside, they never realized the gamble outside.
And we did the Happy New Year thing, and we decided to spend a little bit more money until like 1 o'clock. And at 1:30, we came outside. And my wife got on her side, opened the door for her. She got on her side. She says, your windshield's cracked, real calmly, And I went, oh my God, it's a bullet. And I was more of in shock than she was. But I think it was just one celebrating and shooting fireworks and shooting guns off. And I heard a lot. When I was at the casino, I heard a lot of gunfire.
Mason filed a police report.
The police told me that was a 9mm bullet embedded in my windshield right there.
Now he has to pay out of pocket.
I'm seeing a ballpark probably $500 or more.
It's more than money for Mason. He has a message.
Don't shoot guns in the air, because I think this probably was a gun that was shot straight up in the air and landed in my windshield. So that can land anywhere, on anybody or anything. So I would not shoot guns off to celebrate for anything.
While his luck was tested at the casino, he's still feeling lucky.
I'm very grateful we were not in the car. That's the main thing, because I don't know, it might have penetrated their windshield and hit her or me or whatever. So I'm just grateful that we're alive and well,
Now, we should learn more about St. Louis County numbers tomorrow. We also reached out to the casino and still haven't heard back just yet.
All right, Justina, thank you. Firefighters think a bullet that came through a garage window at a Metro East firehouse may have been the result of celebratory gunfire. Someone shot out one of the windows at the Camp Jackson Fire Station in Cahokia Heights just before midnight. Thankfully, no one was hurt. A firefighter moved away from the window right before the bullet came through. They are still looking for that bullet. The only damage is to the window. St. Louis's real-time crime center can't give us an accurate number of shots fired calls in the city last night. We're told the shot spotter counter stopped at 1,000. Police responded to a report of damage to a house on Hunt Avenue in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood. Officers found several bullet holes in the house and recovered 40 shell casings. So far, there are no reports of any injuries. St. Louis just recorded its third straight year with a decline in homicides. Police tallied 158 murders in 2023, down considerably from the 200 the year before. We expect to hear an official statement from the city officials soon, but for now, our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has early reaction to the improving trend.
Holden, good evening. Yes, these homicide figures are considered preliminary, unofficial, until police and city officials can publish the final report later on. But for now, the early indication is that judging by the number of total murders, St. Louis just saw its safest year on record in a decade.
St. Louis leaders ended 2023 in a ceremony of somber sadness.
To honor and remember each St. Louisan tragically lost to gun violence.
But rang in the new year, unwrapping a surprising gift. Statistics showing a safer city.
When you sit back and look at it on a broad scale, it's mind-blowing because this work can get overwhelming.
We met Khalil Munir at the halfway point of 2023 back in June, uniting grief-stricken families behind this rallying cry.
Honoring and remembering those who were tragically taken from us.
Then, a turning point. Around that time, the police department's monthly homicide reports started falling, eventually reaching the second sharpest year-over-year decline since 1995.
Seeing that now is refreshing. It's like a jolt of energy, to help us to just keep going and keep going.
While a statistician's spreadsheet offers cold comfort to the sting each victim's family feels, the trend line starts to show an outline of a city beginning to heal.
And so you have to push and you have to push and you have to push, regardless to if you see direct results right away or if they come on the long term. But it's about continuous work.
And those encouraging reports about work paying off, fueling feelings of hope and resolve in a new year.
I pray for this resolution. I pray that we could continue to decrease violent crimes.
Advocates who fight against gun violence in the community said encouraging stories like this one are just as, if not more important, as those other startling, scary headlines with the numbers showing that big spike that you sometimes have seen in years past, because it shows it can be done. And those signals of a safer city on the horizon, perhaps something that could attract investors, jobs, the families that come with them, all to sow the seeds of a stronger city tomorrow. Live down.
Thank you, Mark. A pipe burst on Christmas Day in 2022 is still impacting seniors in Jennings today. Finally, they can move back home after being evacuated due to excessive flooding and living in a hotel for a year. 5 on your side's Annie Krall joins us live from the Fairview Village Senior Living Apartments. Annie, I'm sure you saw a lot of smiles today.
No, absolutely, Holden. You are so right. And I'm actually here in the lobby of those senior living apartments. Now, when that pipe actually burst, there was so much water damage. This entire south side hallway, one resident told me, looked like a swimming pool. But thankfully, after a fresh coat of paint and some new plumbing behind the walls, not to mention new carpeting, residents are just relieved to be back home. In fact, that flooding evacuation was something they never expected.
Never. And I hope it never happened to anyone.
It's move-in day for some at Fairview Village Senior Living Apartments in Jennings on Monday. After hundreds of thousands of dollars in restoration, the 40 residents aren't battling mold and waterlogged hallways when a massive pipe burst on Christmas Day in 2022.
And it's coming out the ceilings and everything.
And it affected all of these units.
Gary Johnson says it was an old pipe that has now been renovated. All of the residents had to be evacuated out of the building, though the southern part of the building had the most damage. 30 residents calling this Hilton Garden Inn by St. Louis Airport home for a year.
I just thought it would take less time for them to fix this apartment than they did.
Originally, it was just a couple of months, but again, the project was extended due to the excessive water damage and things like that.
The city of Jennings provided a $1,000 stipend or grant to these residents and waived building and permit fees for the owners. Though residents remained frustrated with Jennings and the building owners, Rise Community Development being told it may only take a few months to fix rather than a full year.
At the end, it came together, whereas we could get the people into the home and where they could feel back like they're at home. They feel comfortable in their home, and that was the main goal, is to do that as well. But at the beginning, it was frustrating.
Now, as we said, the city of Jennings waived that building and permit fees. Mayor Gary Johnson saying that totals about $5,000 to help expedite the rebuilding process. He also says that they are still accepting new applicants if anyone is interested in moving in. Reporting live in Jennings, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Coming up, people gather at a North St. Louis church to celebrate something that happened on this day in 1863. Plus, the new year means raises for many workers in Missouri and Illinois. The minimum wage hikes in both states.
And we'll get a little bump in temperatures tomorrow around St. Louis, back into the 40s, but it's a colder overall pattern heading into this month of January. Let's see what the moisture availability is as we get towards this weekend.